Hello, today we are going to review some important concepts in hematology and physiology by walking through a few multiple choice questions. So the first one, the mechanism that relays information about tissue oxygen levels to erythropoietin producing site is located in the B kidney. Our body regulates the production of red blood cells, erythropoiesis, to ensure we have enough oxygen carrying capacity. The primary hormone that stimulates this process is called erythropoietin or EPO. The body needs a sensor to detect low oxygen levels to know when to release more EPO. In adults, the kidneys are the primary sites for both sensing hypoxia and producing EPO. Specialized cells in the kidneys called peritubular intestinal cells constantly monitor the oxygen carrying concentration in the blood. When they detect hypoxia, they ramp up the production of EPO, which then travels to the bone marrow to stimulate the production of more red blood cells. Antigen-independent lymphopoiesis occurs in the primary lymphoid tissue located in T, thymus, and bone marrow. Lymphoid stem cells in the bone marrow develop into mature NIF-B lymphocytes. Other lymphoid precursors travel from the bone marrow to thymus to mature into NIF-T lymphocytes. Programmed cell death is called apoptosis. Apoptosis is the scientific term for programmed cell death. It is highly regulated orderly process where the cell effectively commits suicide. It is a clean process that doesn't trigger inflammation. The cell shrinks, the DNA is neatly cleaved, and the cell breaks into small membrane-bound apoptosis spores that are cleaned up by phagocytes. This is essential for normal development, tissue maintenance, and removing damaged or cancerous cells. Necrosis. This is traumatic cell death caused by acute injury, toxins, or lack of blood supply. Cellular senescence. This is not cell death. It's a state where a cell stops dividing but remains metabolically active. It is a form of cellular aging. Terminal differentiation. This is the final step in the cell's development where it becomes highly specialized cell type. The cell is fully functional and alive, not dead. In what area of the bone marrow does hemopoiesis take place? A. Cause. Hemopoiesis, the formation of blood cells, occurs in the extravascular spaces of the bone marrow. These spaces are known as hematopoietic cores. These cores are mesh walls containing the flowing blood cells, stromal cells that provide support, macrophages, and fat cells. Bone marrow cellularity refers to the ratio of B. Hematopoietic tissue to adipose tissue. Cellularity is defined as the percentage or ratio of the bone marrow volume that is occupied by hematopoietic tissue and adipose tissue. In a young person, the marrow is highly cellular with very little fat. As we age, hematopoietic tissue is gradually replaced by fat, so cellularity decreases. Which of the following is associated with glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase (GCPD) deficiency? The answer is A. Gene that codes for GCPD enzyme is located on X chromosome. This is a fundamental genetic fact about the condition. This means genetic deficiency is an X-linked recessive disorder. May have only one X chromosome, XY. A single defective GCPD gene will cause them to have a deficiency. Females have two X chromosomes, XX. If they have one defective gene, they are typically carriers and are usually asymptomatic because their other normal X chromosome can produce enough enzyme. Which of the following statements about sickle cell syndrome is false? The answer is C. This statement describes the principle behind a common screening test for sickle cell disease, the solubility test. The chemical dithionite is a reducing agent that dehydrogenates hemoglobin. In this deoxygenated state, normal hemoglobin remains dissolved and the solution stays clear. But hemoglobin S polymerizes and burns precipitate, making the solution turbid and cloudy. Therefore, hemoglobin S is less soluble, not more soluble. Pica is most commonly associated with which of the following conditions? Answer is C, iron deficiency. Pica is an eating disorder characterized by craving and eating of non-nutritive substances. While the exact mechanism is not fully understood, there is a very strong and well-documented clinical association between iron deficiency and pica. When the iron deficiency is treated and iron levels return to normal, the pica cravings disappear. It is considered a classic sign of iron deficiency. So move to our last question. Of the following, the leading cause of folate deficiency is B. Dietary insufficiency. Folate vitamin 9 is an essential water-soluble vitamin required for DNA synthesis and repair. Our bodies cannot produce it, so we must get it from our diet. The body stores of folate are relatively small, lasting only a few months. In the global context and in many populations, the single most common cause of folate deficiency is simply not eating enough folate-rich foods. These include leafy green vegetables, fruits, and fortified grains. Alcoholism is the major contributor to dietary insufficiency, as alcoholics often have poor diets and alcohol itself can interfere with folate absorption and metabolism. Okay, I hope you learned something new. See you in the next video.